Okay, so for those of you that don't know, I live a pretty unconventional life. So if you don't know my story, basically, long story short, I quit my corporate 9 to 5, sold all my belongings, moved to Thailand, have been living in Southeast Asia for about the past 2.5 years, and then Europe, and pretty much just like all over the world. And I live out of a backpack. So I wanted to show you guys a little behind the scenes of like what is actually inside the 2 bags. That's right, just 2 bags that holds all of my stuff, that I run a YouTube channel, a podcast, a $500,000 business, like, you know, almost 75 clients at one time. And I do all of this on the road out of these 2 bags in places like Thailand and Qatar and Puerto Rico and Portugal. So yeah, let's see. So my rule of thumb is that we can only bring what we can carry. And that's honestly just because we stay on the road. Normally when it's not like COVID times, we're traveling every 2 to 3 months. You can get settled at a good amount of time, but trust me, even if you like wanted all of these other things, it is way more of a nightmare than it is if you cannot like by yourself carry what you have. So pretty much I have these 2 bags, which we're gonna fill them up. I'll show you what's inside of them. And then I have a purse. However, when I first moved abroad, which you can see right here, I had like 4 bags. It was an absolute nightmare. I literally remember like walking through the streets of Hong Kong with all of these bags hanging off of me, just like all of these crowds. It was a horrendous trip. I'll have to tell that story another day. But anyways, luckily we vary, of course, what we pack based on the locations that we're living in. We normally live in warm climates because like, who wants to live in the cold if you get the choice? So we're normally living in Southeast Asia, which means your clothes are like smaller, and we're always able to bring like way more than we need. So let's take a look first in my carry-on bag here. So I'm gonna bring this camera around here and show you guys all what goes inside of here. Also, these are not sponsored at all, but like Osprey is life. So if you are someone who is like a digital nomad and about to travel abroad, all of my bags are Osprey. I swear by Osprey. I'll never use anything else but Osprey. Osprey has my heart. They're just amazing. So this one's a 20-liter. Okay, so inside this 20-liter bag, we're gonna start to unpack all of this right here. And this entire bag basically just has all of my tech equipment. So as a online business owner, you have so much. So I have my camera, which is what I'm filming on now. I have another lens. I absolutely love this lens. I'll show you guys here. But I also really love photography and videography, even though it's not a part of my business. I used to have a drone too, but RIP. This was where the drone crashed in Thailand a couple years ago. And then the key to everything that we have is it has to be in like little pouches so that everything stays organized. So this has like all of my different headphones, all of my different pens, my Apple Pencil, all of that stuff. And then I have my iPad and my laptop. Okay, so as you can see here, I've got a couple different packing cubes. I've got 2 big ones, 2 long ones, and 2 medium ones, and that is literally all of my clothes. So we're not gonna actually unpack this entire thing. I definitely will leave a list on the side here of kind of a summary of what we typically have, but I pretty much just squeeze a lot of stuff, way more than you ever think you could, into all of these. And I have a variation of like, typically 1 pair of pants. I typically have 1 or 2 pairs of leggings. Again, we live in warm climates. And so then I have dresses. Everything is very versatile. So like this is just like, it's inside out, but this is a long dress and I can always throw a little jean jacket on. So the 2 jackets I always travel with, which these just got out so they're a little wrinkled, is a jean jacket and then a rain jacket. Rain jacket is like so important. You can layer it if it's like cold or snowy. You can like put something else under it. But I always travel with a rain jacket, especially in Southeast Asia when it is rainy season. Then I also have a couple of pair of pants. Again, everything is very like loose and like linen, like materials like that, because I typically live in warm climates. We've got a couple pair of like jean shorts. So you'll notice that everything in my wardrobe is also on brand. So I hate myself for doing that, but it is, and that's also really important because I am not, again, just a backpacker, and so a lot of these clothes, while they're pretty casual because we live in Southeast Asia, there are some nice clothes. Like these are some little like cute slack pants that would look nice if I were to go out to a nice dinner or do a brand photo shoot. We did a brand photo shoot with these pants actually in Croatia, which I'll put a little one of those photos here. And so same thing with these. These are some cute shorts. Again, they're a little wrinkled, but they're a little nicer. It's actually a skirt, which is super fun. And this is on brand for me. So my brand colors are kind of like these pinky orange, yellow, some blues and greens. So literally this. That is my brand color palette, essentially. So if you are like running a business while traveling, that's something to keep in mind too. And then the rest of my clothes, you'll notice, which again, we're not going through every single one of them, but they're very neutral. And that's probably the most important thing, even when you're backpacking. But again, we're talking about like truly being a digital nomad, living and running a business on the road. Everything's versatile, and so I don't have a lot of like loud statement pieces, but for me and my personality, I'm like that anyways. So I also have an entire thing of gym clothes. So I typically travel with like 4 Nike shorts, 4 gym shirts, 4 sports bras, and just like rotate those around. This entire thing is like bras, swimsuits, socks, underwear, all that good stuff. And then this is pretty much like all shirts. And so again, you want everything to be super versatile. So we have a lot of like cute little tank tops that are like different colors. A lot of times I'll buy the same tank top if I know that I like it and it works, just again in different colors. And then this is really how we pack. You roll and you squeeze it in there. So I can fit like a ton of shirts in this little thing here. Now, besides all those clothes, which all of this goes in that big bag back here, I also have toiletries. So this is my entire bag of toiletries. For those of you with like very specific things that you love, especially if you're from the States, like something, I don't know, some face cream or something, you really have to get over it because you cannot afford to take like heavy stuff. This is honestly, again, way more than I ever use. I never put on makeup, just special for you guys. No, I'm kidding. But yeah, so this is all of my toiletries, and just to give you guys an idea of what it actually is that I bring, I have some like powder, foundation, some stuff like that. Again, I don't use it very often, so I don't know, it probably is like bad, need to replace it. I've got a lot of random just like mascara, stuff like that. The thing to remember is like literally Bali, Thailand, Vietnam, anywhere you can find all of this stuff. And so you really have to kind of just like let go. The one thing I will say is to stack up on birth control, contacts, medicine, different things like that, which I also carry in here. But it's actually way easier to get a lot of that stuff, especially birth control for us Americans. I stock up before I come back to the States because otherwise it cost me last time I was in the States $250 to go see a doctor to get birth control that I've been on for 10 years. Then I had to pay almost $300 to get a 3-month subscription of the birth control. I don't know, it was something ridiculous like that. In every other country I live in, they just give it to you and it's like $15. It's ridiculous. But anyways, that's not what this episode is about. And then I have like a hairbrush. I did carry some little serum with me. And then I also have a hair curling wand. Normally I don't blow dry my hair, I just let it dry. The important thing with anything like this that you're going to bring is you have to make sure that it is universal. So it has multiple voltages, so it can do the like 110 and the 200 voltage. And then we have a lot of different like converters and adapters. So you have to be really particular about which ones that you bring so that you can use them in different countries. Okay, and then the last thing that I wanted to show you guys is shoes that I carry, and I pretty much only travel with 3 different shoes. So let's take a look at them. So I always have tennis shoes to work out. I love working out. I always find a gym everywhere that we live. Plus, if you're going hiking, anything like that, you need them. And then I have my Birks. They're a little dirty, excuse me, but like literally live in these, especially because we normally live in Southeast Asia. And then I am a huge fan of Chacos. I live and breathe by them. They are not fashionable, but they are literally the best shoe in the world. So these are my Chacos. I have hiked mountains in Thailand in these. I have hiked mountains in Vietnam in these. They like go in the water, literally just like one of the best travel shoes ever, just for like all climates. And that's pretty much all I have. So I wear my Birks almost every day, work out in my tennis shoes, use those for adventures, and use the Chacos for the other times. Now, whenever we travel to like colder climates, I normally bring Adidas. I just have like white sneaker Adidas, and those are what I'll wear the rest of the time. But shoes are like the thing you just have to be super versatile with. So now that we have sufficiently like destroyed my room to film this video, it's okay, I needed to unpack anyways. We literally just got back from Portugal about a couple of days ago. I'm just gonna answer like 2 quick questions that I often get. So one of them is, why do I still live out of a backpack when I run a $500,000 business and, you know, don't need to be doing that? And to be honest, it's mostly because it's easy. If I had to carry more stuff, like it's just not worth the trouble. So this is really just the easiest thing. Now, I will say as my YouTube channel grows and we start getting more like equipment for different things within my business, we may switch up a little bit, but I like the minimalist lifestyle and I often buy things in all the different places that I live. And so it's just a lot easier that way. And then there actually wasn't a second question. It was mostly just that. But I hope this was helpful for y'all. If you were just like really curious about like what's inside my bag, what all do I carry along with me to like run my business on the road, this is literally it. Or if you are looking at becoming a digital nomad yourself and starting to live this lifestyle, I hope this was helpful. If you guys want like a more detailed video of some of this stuff, or like a blog post maybe with all the packing stuff, let me know in the comments below and I'm happy to always share more details there. But one of the coolest things, like I get asked a lot, just like, don't you get tired of wearing the same clothes, or, you know, how do you get new stuff? And like, I buy so much stuff in all of the cool places we visit. As you guys saw, my backpack and my purse over here are from Hoi An, Vietnam. I'll post like the video here of that, but you know, we just got to like walk through the streets and buy these things. And I have so many dresses from Vietnam as well that were all handmade for me. I have dresses from Thailand, from Bali, shoes from there. So it really is just one of those things that you have to like just be okay with knowing that you can always find what you need and you're gonna be okay, and you really learn that you need very, very little. So anyways, I hope this was super fun and helpful, a little bit of a mix from all of the business stuff. So if you like this video, don't forget to hit subscribe and like to support this channel. And in the meantime, while you guys are literally like planning your one-way tickets, I recommend checking out these other 2 videos here where I talk a lot on my channel about helping entrepreneurs start and scale their businesses and monetize a personal brand on social media. So I appreciate you guys so much for watching my channel. I have so much fun here and I will see you guys on the next video.